I was recently doing some time trials in Gran Turismo with my trusty Fanatec GT DD Pro, which I've had for a month and a half, maybe 2 months, when the wheel stopped responding and essentially became disconnected. After doing some research, what I learned is that the shaft that connects into the wheelbase can come loose and back out, and then there's a USB-C connection that happens inside the wheelbase through that shaft, and it basically loses connection. So after looking into it, I decided I was going to upgrade the clamp, the stock U clamp that comes with the wheelbase. You're supposed to crank it down to 15 Newton meters, but after looking at things, I just intuitively decided a two fastener, two piece collar type clamp would work better. So this is what I did. There's a link below in the description for this Amazon purchase. It is a two piece collar clamp, two pieces, two fasteners. It's much more heavy duty than the stock U clamp that's on there. Don't forget to like the video. And now it's time to get to work here. So I've got to get the steering wheel off the rig here carefully, and then using my Allen wrenches to loosen up that U-clamp. I did try to just tighten and reseat the shaft after the first time I had the disconnection. It worked for about an hour, and then it worked itself loose again. I did not use a torque wrench, but you can see there, it is just a USB-C connector that's inside the shaft. And if that backs out of the wheel, you can kind of tell why that does not work. So off with the old, and then here's the new one, much beefier. And one thing that I learned in looking at this that seems to be critical is you've got to line up the slots on the wheelbase with the slot on your clamp, or the slots, in my case, on this clamp. So as I'm putting the new one on, I'm going to make sure that they are dead on, as solid as I can get it. And now we can put the shaft back in, nice and gentle and carefully, because that USB-C connector seems very fragile in this setting. Now that I've got it on, start to tighten these up, at least just get them a little bit snug, which took a while with that multiple Allen wrench tool. But, you know, through the magic of video editing, we can speed this up and make it somewhat less painful. And once I got it somewhat snug so that it wouldn't just sort of slide and roll off on its own, I got the slots lined up exactly. Then I pulled that collar closer to the shaft so that it's right on the edge, and thinking that would give it its maximum clamping force. Then I got out an actual torque wrench. I've had this thing for a very long time for working on the car, but what I did is set it to 10 Newton meters, and then alternate back and forth, and it really just kind of went very slow and easy. And this is a clicking type torque wrench. It's old school because I'm old, and it works, so why replace it? Then I bumped it up to 11 Newton meters and repeated this exercise, and got it up to 12 Newton meters is really where I settled. I felt like that was applying quite a bit of force, and I reasoned that the stock U-clamp is meant to be torqued to 15 Newton meters, so I figured 12 Newton meters per side on the two-piece clamp, collar clamp, was going to work just fine. Nothing broke, nothing snapped. I have seen some online comments, but I'm going back to this picture because I think this is critical when you're putting that clamp on the wheelbase, whether it's the stock one that's shown here or the two-piece upgraded that I just installed. It is critical that the slots all line up to get even force to really hold that thing on there. So make sure you line those up.